You know, during this time of the celebration of the 250th anniversary of our country, we frequently look at literature about people and things of today, and all of us remember this from childhood, I'm sure. Listen, my children, and you shall hear of the midnight ride of Paul Revere on the 18th of April in 75. Hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. Well, that was the midnight ride of Paul Revere. But I'm here to tell you there was another ride. Not near as famous, but at least just as important. The air was cold, and some of the snow had melted. Syble Ludington pulled her shawl tightly around her shoulders for protection against the cold wind. She had been to the barn to give her horse Star some oats on this cold April day in New England. She noticed the distant fire in the sky and thought the town of Danbury, Connecticut must be ablaze. She could see it from Fredericksburg, New York. Syble remembered that there was a Continental Army garrison there. She had heard her father say that the Patriots had stockpiled munitions in Danbury. Father had fought in the French and Indian War and was now colonel commanding the troops. But on this day, he was at home in Ludington Mill, and his 400 militiamen were on furlough. Syble rushed into the house to tell Father what she had seen. "Danbury's burning," she said to her father. "The British are destroying the munitions," the colonel said as he leapt from his chair beside the fireplace, and quickly added, "Syble, saddle Star and ride to tell the militia to muster here. I will try to contact the Continental generals." As she raced out of the room, her father added, "Better take this," handing her one of his horse pistols. She grabbed the heavy pistol and took a cloak from the hall tree and was bound for the barn. The sky was completely dark now. Star whinnied as she entered the barn. The big black gelding was practically invisible in the dim light. She quickly saddled the horse, as she had done many times, and in a few minutes she was in the saddle. Then she was off to wake the militiamen. The cold rain began to fall before she was out of earshot of her home. She urged Star into a gallop. Syble planned to visit as many farms and villages as possible. As she neared a farm or public house, she would yell at the top of her lungs, "The redcoats are coming! The British are coming! Muster at Ludington Mill!" The cold rain continued like icy needles from the sky. Lightning flashed and the thunder roared. She sped onward. Her bonnet was gone, and her cloak and dark hair streamed behind as the big horse galloped through the countryside. Once a large sapling came crashing down across the trail in front of her. Star jumped over it easily, but Syble was almost thrown from the horse. She righted herself in the saddle and continued on, urging Star to gallop faster. From behind a small building in the village of Carmel, a highwayman came brandishing a musket. She fired the pistol at the man before he could shoot. Syble continued through the night without further instances, awakening sleeping militiamen on their farms and in the villages where they were sleeping. She was getting very, very tired and cold, but she continued on. The message was the same in each location. She yelled, "The British are coming! Muster at Ludington's Mill!" Dawn broke as she awakened the last of the militiamen and was shivering in the cold air, and Star was covered with sweat as she returned to Ludington's Mill. Colonel Henry Ludington helped his daughter from her horse and held the freezing, soaking wet 16-year-old girl in his arms as she said in a croaked-like voice, "The British are coming, muster," and fell immediately asleep. As a result of Syble Ludington's night ride, Colonel Henry Ludington and his 400 militiamen and 700 Continental soldiers defeated the British at the Battle of Ridgefield, New York, the next day, April 27, 1777.